I don't know what any of this shit is, and I'm fucking scared.
First, you're gonna tell me about this science stuff.
Sorry about that. What is a scientist?
You caught me like I'm experimenting with
Science!
It's like magic with electricity.
I know that. I'm not stupid. I'm smarter than you.
The smartest scientists in the entire world all agree
Science is a liar sometimes.
Seriously, this could not seem less scientific.
Those idiots don't know anything about science.
It's science.
I believe it's pronounced science.
This is the least scientific thing I've ever seen. So I'm just experimenting with them?
You be quiet.
Thank you, scientist.
Under the guise of science.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, Chris.
Hello, Charlie.
How are you?
I'm pretty well. How are you?
Oh, just grand. Thank you for inquiring.
Wonderful, wonderful.
I've got my podcast glasses on. I've got my Hooters baseball hat on. I am ready to go.
Can't get any more. Yeah.
That is also my podcast hat now. I've decided.
The Hooters hat?
Yeah.
My podcast hat is also my only hat.
Damn it, you outed me to all the people who didn't know about my only Hooters hat.
No, but you have hats plural. I have the hat. I do have another hat that I wear when I mow the lawn or do something where I'm going to sweat so that this hat doesn't get too gross.
Oh, this is your good hat.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, this hat's not for everyday wearing.
It's for fancy wearing. This is when I got to go talk to people where look like I don't know, try. I've come to the realization, this is completely out of nowhere, but I've come to the realization that fashion sense is really it's the point where you look in the mirror and you go, that'll do. Like for some people, that point is way further along than it is for me. I get to say that's fine.
100%. That's why it's. I think I said it before, but I'll say it again. It's real easy to step over the bar when you put it on the ground.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, same. It's it's whatever the season permits for my legs, shorts or not shorts.
Mm-hmm.
And almost always a t-shirt, and then every now and again they'll be like, if I show up with something with a collar on, motherfuckers are like, ooh.
Look, going on an interview?
Yep, I'm going on an interview in my my Sharks in Outer Space button-up shirt that I have.
Could be a startup. There's lots of places that give interviews that would appreciate that sort of thing.
I show up there they're all in suits and well, it was on a Friday. I thought we were having a wacky Friday dress down day like you guys have every week, right?
Right.
And then they're like, you know what? Maybe we've been doing this wrong. And then cue music. It's a trailer about me showing these uptight corporate guys how to loosen up and live life, and they show me how to be a bit of a grown up.
Okay. You take them to the novelty Hawaiian shirt store. It has various characters from and they're like, this is how you do your taxes. Yeah, not bad. I'm with it.
Yeah. Here's your here, now you come with us to Caraco Suits. We hear there's some type of 3 for some amount of money that ends up being twice as much by the time you're done sale.
And all the salesmen are doing rails in the back room at this upscale suit store.
I was at when I was getting fitted for my wedding suit. There was a guy at one of the stores, like, who's shorter than me. I couldn't have been any more than 5 foot. Really, really wiry. So, and then he had a big Band-Aid above his eye, and then like a huge, like, big white gauze bandage under his left eye.
Oh boy!
Like, yeah, like actively hurt himself. Like, I didn't really get much out of it. But like, yeah, it's so what you said so far about they're doing rails in the back room absolutely checks out. I mean,
100%.
What else says cocaine like an extremely skinny figure and very fresh fight wounds?
those are two of the biggest telltale signs
It's like, wait,
that cocaine was involved recently.
But I remember he went in the back and his boss took over for me, or took over for him rather. And he comes over. I was like, "Yo, he has real like henchman vibes to him." And he looked at me and he's like, "Wow, yeah, that's pretty good."
And he was like, "Actually, that's his job title. We were hiring a suit henchman."
Just until he's just waiting, like just kind of squatting down on the ground in a suit for someone to come in, just punching brass knuckles into his other palm, just ready to fucking throw this suit at him.
You got until the 31st if you want to get your money back on it.
And surprise, surprise, he was quite pushy.
Yeah. I could have told you that as soon before you even told me about his face.
He like the Jerky Boys car salesman is like, you look, I stick his face in the fucking hood and I say, look, you gotta fucking buy this car right now.
Right. Dope.
I don't know how they do things up in Middletown, but that's not how we do things here in the city. Whatever. Fucking. Isn't it great how you start off loving the Jerky Boys just for all the voices and characters and nonsense they say, but as you listen to it more, really appreciating what the unsuspecting person on the other end of the phone is responding with.
Oh yeah, no, that's half the fun. Yeah.
My favorite was one of my favorites is the touch it in the back TV salesman. Kissel's calling up.
It's got, don't touch it in the back. Sorry, go on here.
But so that guy at one point he's going, touch it in the back, and the guy goes, no one should be touching anything. Like just
he said, touch it on the back. Yeah, taking it seriously. Like, what are these two doing?
And then one of the best on the fly improvs ever is he's yelling, pull the plug. The sales rep is yelling, pull the plug. Kissel goes, he ain't dead yet. Just, God damn it, man. How are you that fast?
Yeah.
How are you that good at that?
No, they're impressive with that, for sure.
Incredible.
Wow.
Jerky Boys, 2 weeks in a row. Check it out, kids.
Yeah, if you've never heard, they're good. Well, speaking of electricity.
Ooh, what do we got on electricity?
Yeah, we can move from, don't touch it in the back. That current flowing through that wire that they're touching, that current creates a magnetic sphere.
Really?
Or, I shouldn't say magnetic sphere. I'm sorry. I'm hopping ahead and getting a little. Let me back it up a little bit.
Electrical and hopping ahead to you.
Yeah. Electrical current creates magnetic fields. That's electromagnetism at its base, I guess.
All right. So if I could even ask, if I could take that even one step back further, to quote the Insane Clown Posse, fucking magnets, how do those work? Like, so I get, I get this metal that's natural, like magnets, the ones that come out of the ground, like they're already charged in a certain way, right, where the poles have opposite poles, and like poles push apart and opposite poles attract. So how does electricity do that?
So going back to, there's the four fundamental forces of nature, one of which is electromagnetism. At some point, somebody noticed that there's a scientist. I'm saying somebody. It wasn't just a dude. Like these were all experiments and stuff like that I'm gonna condense into 3 sentences that you can look up for yourself if you would like to. But somebody first noticed that electrical currents produce a magnetic field. There was an electric current going one way, and things were attracted to it. Somebody else noticed that if they create a magnetic field, it actually creates a current in a nearby conductor that they had set up for this experiment. So the link between the two started to kind of present itself. And then a guy named Maxwell's equations are the only reason I remember his name, but he was very important to physics in general. But Maxwell, his equations describe how electricity and magnetism interact, which led to the theory of electromagnetism, which has been proven and tested and all that kind of stuff. So basically, all it means is, like, think of a compass, that a compass points north. That is not true. Compasses don't point north. It's the thing is arranged in a way that it looks like an arrow, so it looks like it points. But what magnets do is align with the magnetic field. So from the way the current is moving, that creates the field. They actually, and you can't see me if only you can see me, but there's a rule for electricians.
For those listening, he's holding his thumb out like in Gladiator, like he wants the crowd to decide whether or not the loser wins or lives or dies.
So if you do that, you hold your thumb out in front of you, pointing left or pointing right, whatever, and you curl your hand, your other 4 fingers around, whatever way your thumb is pointing, that's the way the current is going. Whatever way your hand is curling, the other 4 fingers, that's the way the field is going. So if you switch it the other way, so if it's going left to right, or a better way to put it is, if it's coming at your face, it's going clockwise. If it's going away from your face, it's going counterclockwise.
Oh, okay.
So all of that, I mean, and you've done that in science class, science experiments and science fairs back in the day, where you get a stupid battery and you hook it up and you can open and close the circuit and stick a nail to it when it's closed and stuff like that. So all of this is to say, they figured out that electromagnetism is one force, and there's a particle that carries forces, that communicates the force between 2 objects. And in this case, it's the photon. Photon does both light and it does, other ranges that we can't see. But as photons travel, they also convey this magnetic force as well. So in the case of magnets that attract to each other, similar to how inside the nucleus there are virtual gluons that pop in and out of existence, there are virtual photons that exchange this magnetic force between the 2 fields. Depending on which way the current is going, you get your north or your south or whatever. So, 2 that are kind of going in the same way will push apart, or, vice versa, whatever the case is. So that's where it all comes. That's what it all boils down to, is this exchange of virtual photons is how the fuck magnets work. ICP.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Cool shit.
I hope that's mostly right. I'm as usual, half in the bag. So,
and as usual, word for it taken.
Nice. But But that's basically what it boils down to.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
That's neat. Yeah, actually, I don't recall ever retaining that or understanding how compasses work.
Yeah. Compasses is just a magnetic thing with a north and south that's shaped like an arrow. So wherever you're standing, it aligns, because magnetic fields, doesn't matter how big they are, they work the same.
Right.
So in the case of the Earth's, it aligns itself with this magnetic field that's, vertically that would be longitudinally, I guess is the word for it, aligned.
And are they always, whole planet, it's going the same way?
Yep.
The magnetic field? Okay.
Yes. Yeah, they got the South Pole and the North Pole and the whole thing.
What was the words? So, like Bermuda Triangle, like that, all the shit goes haywire over there. Do they know why yet?
I think it has to do more with superstition and bad record keeping and stuff like that, because it turns out the ocean in general is fucking crazy, and there's as many ships lost elsewhere as in the Bermuda Triangle.
But does it is it only like do your instruments actually go bananas over that though?
I don't know. I have never flown a plane. I've heard people say that. I've also heard people say that it's bullshit, that does not happen. So I guess it depends who you ask. I lean towards the side of, because there are a lot of cases where things that they said went missing washed up somewhere else or turned up somewhere else, but they just didn't connect the dots and keep the record in a lot of cases. It's there's rogue waves and shit like that in the ocean. Right. It's fucking crazy. Like, you don't want to be on a boat for months.
I was thinking like that's what made me think about it. Just if there's like any spots where for some reason the magnetic field isn't doing the exact same thing on the whole planet. Like,
gotcha.
Like weak spots in there or something.
No, and I mean, this thing extends outside the atmosphere, the magnetic field. It goes way out into space. So yeah, it's huge. And just, it doesn't care about ships. That's like a little blip on its path, kind of.
All right.
Yeah. What is cool about the magnetic field around the Earth, before we get into the why, the magnetic poles and the actual true poles, like magnetic north and true north, as far as looking at a map or looking at the globe, are not in the same place. The magnetic field kind of is rotating, or does rotate, so it's a couple 100 kilometers apart from where you would think north would be on the map.
Oh, okay.
And every so often, and by every so often I mean like tens of millions of years or whatever it is, I think on average it's every few 100,000 to every few millions of years the magnetic poles shift. But there's also cases of tens of millions of years where it doesn't shift. And by shift, I mean north becomes to south and south becomes north. It actually flips on itself.
And does that like change the rotation in regard to the 24-hour rotation?
That wouldn't matter. Depending on the sun's activity, it may not even matter for Earth. But the magnetic field is what keeps a lot of the harmful particles out from the solar wind.
Okay.
So during that shift, it would weaken. I don't know how long it takes. If it's, I don't think it's like overnight. Now it's north and south. I think it, takes a little while, and it'll be angled in a weird way. So the Earth could be at risk to bombardment from the sun in cases where that happened. I mean, sunburn and cancer, I don't know that the Earth would keep on ticking, but we might have a rough time.
Now, so sci-fi movie idea based off of only one scene that I have in my head. It's going to be these two alien species, well, to us anyway. We can, if you want, we can shum on at the end and go, "Oh, it was Earth the whole time," or some shit like that. But like the magnetic field is able to keep, like, make it like fortify it, and then like to keep the other species from attacking, and then like they figure out a way to time out when the poles are going to reverse, so they like plan their attack around that because that's the only time they can get into the force field.
Yeah,
something like that. It's a jumping off point.
There's something interesting there. I think that sounds got an ooh out of me.
Yeah, all right.
That's something.
Yeah, back to science fact.
Science fact. Let's see. All right, so I guess just diving into our magnetic field here on the Earth. So we've spoken about the Earth's core before. There's the inner core, the innermost core also, but in this case we're worried about the outer core. We're more interested in the outer core because the outer core is not solid. It's molten iron, some nickel in there, and the movement in this, like as the Earth is spinning and there's energy in there from nuclear, what's it called? The weak nuclear force, radioactivity, like things, radiate and give off heat that way, leftover energy from when the planet formed and stuff like that. There's a ton of energy in there, so that it gets hot. So pockets of this liquid molten iron heat up, get less dense and kind of bubble up, and then as they get up, they cool down and they get dense again and kind of bubble down. So it's called convection. You kind of have these vertical currents in this liquid iron, and because of all this motion, it creates a current, an electrical current from charged particles, ions, things like that as they're moving back and forth. And as we just spoke about, anytime you have an electric current, it creates a magnetic field.
And is it like what's causing the electricity? Is that kind of friction, for lack of a better way to, like, is it generating from friction?
Yeah, just friction, heat. The energy that's being given off. The heat causes some of these particles to ionize.
Mm-hmm.
Ionize just basically means less or more electrons than expected based on the number of protons. And so in those cases, it gets a charge. If you have less, you have a positively charged ion. If you have more, you have a negatively charged ion. So these charged ions moving, that's a charged particle in motion, which is an electric current. It's the same thing.
Cool shit. Oh, is this why there's lightning out of volcanoes sometimes?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah. Which is fucking cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just that you got a different charge in the top, and electricity wants to hit the ground. That's it. It wants to hit the ground and level out. So yeah, if you got these weird ions coming out of the top that get erupted, yeah, that's cool as shit when that happens.
Yeah,
as long as it's far away.
Yeah, that's what. That's one of the coolest fucking thing about camera technology and the ability to spread that information. Like, there's a dude flying drones over like active volcanic activity on Iceland a few years back. It's fucking wild to be able, you're not supposed to be able to get that close to know what that sounds like. You know,
and there he is with the drone.
Yeah. It's crazy. And like there's a reel on one of that keeps popping up. It's like people on another mountaintop, like they're far away from a volcano erupting, but it's like you see the thing explode up in the air, and then I counted, it's like 8 or 9 seconds. It's just the loudest boom ever.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's sick. I got to find that one.
Yeah, it's cool as shit. Yeah, I got to see that one.
Me too. Again.
Yeah. So I guess to kind of tie in what we first started speaking about, so that creates the magnetosphere is what they call it, which has a North Pole and a South Pole. So yeah, the Earth is a giant magnet. So we have all these other little magnets that align with that field, and that's how you get a compass. Oh, a cool thing. You said you saw this in Iceland. Because the magnetosphere ends at the poles, so the solar wind, it sends all these charged particles that come through. It kind of bumps into the magnetosphere and is routed, I guess, north or south along the magnetic lines. So as it gets closer to the North Pole and to the South Pole, that's where you get the aurora or the northern lights, or
no shit,
where you live. Yeah, so that's what you're seeing. Neat. Those are particles from the sun being routed and charged, and
wow,
you're watching the Earth save us in color.
Holy fuck! Is that what that is? Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
No shit. It's awesome.
It is.
So obviously, if there was less magnetosphere, that would be bad. Could it be too much magnetosphere as well? Could that be a bad thing potentially?
Yes.
Ooh.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, I think, and everywhere pretty much has a magnetic field. Everything where this stuff goes on. Mercury has one. It's very weak. It's not that active. Jupiter has one that's crazy strong because it's it's metallic hydrogen rather than iron that's being moved, and a whole shit ton of it too. So that one's crazy strong. But I mean, stars have their own, and getting real big to something like a neutron star. There's something called a magnetar out there, which is a neutron star that is it's spinning so fast, and the way it works, the magnetosphere is like insane. We can feel it from here, and it's one of those things where if you got close enough, it would tear your skin off. Like that could like tear your flesh off. It's like that strong, where it's like
holy shit,
hundreds. I don't even know how many times the strength of our suns, but.
That's fucking bananas. That's huge. Huge.
So yeah, we don't want to get near those, but none of them are close, thankfully. But
yeah. Thankfully, nothing is close.
It's true. At least terrors are far enough away that we'll be all right.
Yeah, like I say a majority of my life, it's always been like, man, I wish shit in outer space was closer. And after the last 6 months, no, I do not.
Right. Everything is right where it needs to be.
And thankfully, everything's moving away from itself, so it's only going to get better.
Right. The threats are just slowly just heading out. Although I heard that I don't know how to pronounce it, but that cigar-looking asteroid, Umamu or something. Yeah. The Hawaiian name, the one that starts with an O, it's coming back or something like that.
And this time it's personal.
I believe so.
Umamombu 2. Umamombu Boogaloo.
There's only one man that can stop it. And that man is Michio Kaku.
And then
all right.
I mean, get Hollywood on the phone.
Is this big Hollywood?
Is this Terry Bollea?
Sidebar and letting people inside the curtain. My new favorite thing to do is just put big in front of whatever thing you're talking about. We did that a couple times on recent podcasts.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
I remember hearing a guy I work with say big pizza once. And it so caught me off guard. I think it was someone was talking about the conspiracy theory of that the Subway fare and the slice of pizza always inflate in price in unison, and they're always around the same price. And the other guy was ripping them apart. It was like, oh yeah, it's a big conspiracy between the MTA and Big Pizza.
Yeah, they have a meeting somewhere. All the pizza owners. Yeah, that's pretty insane. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, people believe anything though.
Yeah. Why are we talking about big everything? What? I have no idea what we were talking about.
just the magnetic spheres. So on the Earth or in the Earth, it's called geodynamo as far as the transfer of heat. the
That's like
convection currents. Yeah.
It's the main character of a 70s karate movie.
Or it could be a Transformer or something like that too, or a G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah.
Also,
Geodynamo,
also a anime show that never quite made it over here. It's just one of those Japan exclusives.
Well, if you like Geodynamo, you're gonna love Solar Dynamo.
Ooh,
That's new and improved.
Yeah,
that's what goes on in stars, or we say in the sun, but it's gonna go on in other stars as well. So, because the core of stars is just fucking weird, like it's so much pressure and so much heat. It's not anything. It's a fourth form of matter. We're not talking gas, solid, or liquid. We're talking plasma. So plasma is just like, there's so much energy that the nuclei don't really capture electrons. It's kind of all shared. So everything in there it's like I don't want to say soup is a good way of thinking about it as far as the mixing, but it's really not soup because it's almost gaseous and dense. I don't know how to really describe it, but it's all charged ions because of the amount of electron sharing and stuff like that. There's not any kind of real solid helium atom or hydrogen atom. It's a mix of craziness going on in there. Wow. So you still get you get those same convection currents, the same thing where parts of it heat up and move and parts of it cool down and come back down. So stars have huge magnetic spheres or magnetospheres, magnetic fields. And they're also, like, the sun isn't a solid the way the Earth is. So the Earth rotating, it's just one ball that's rotating around. The sun at different parts of latitude rotate at different speeds. There's different belts that move around at different speeds. So because of that and all the energy, the sun's magnetosphere like twists and turns on himself and amplifies itself. And that's where you can get solar flares and things just kind of busting out from all this stuff. Those convection currents, if they heat up enough to hit the surface, that's what a sunspot is.
With the sun flares. So is it just too much stuff for our magnetic field to handle? Or
so far so good. There can be some where that might happen, but our magnetosphere is pretty strong at, and what it does is it kind of captures it and routes it, so it sends it off behind on a tail. Mm-hmm. And I think, like, if there were a big solar flare that were to explode out to or reach us and the magnetosphere took the brunt and shifted it back, mm-hmm. it would be weakened and it would take a little bit of time for it to come back. So if it was like 2 in a row, that could be a problem.
Okay.
As far as electricity or electronics not working.
Yeah, that was the next thing I was going to ask. Like, I feel like I've heard stuff about a potentially really big electromagnetic pulse hitting the Earth and fucking shit up.
Exactamundo.
Now, how bad would that fuck shit up? Would it be like power out for a few minutes, or like would it damage and destroy stuff?
No, it would. I don't know about damage and destroy stuff, but it would fry a lot of computer parts.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like on a motherboard. On a motherboard level.
Right.
On a parts level.
Motherboard. Yeah.
Oh man, so yeah, if that fried everything.
Yeah.
That's everything's computers.
Yeah, you'd be back to paper and pencil. Or paper and pen. Remember that shit? Remember writing stuff down?
Ooh, man. That's a fun one. Someone definitely must have sci-fi'd that up already. Maybe not well yet, but somebody's definitely... I can't imagine no one's tried that idea.
Right.
Turn it into a disaster movie, catastrophe movie. There we go.
Yeah, I'm trying to rack my brain. The only time I can picture, like, because I'm picturing planes falling out of the sky and shit like that. I don't know if it would be that bad, but instruments for landing and stuff like that would probably be toast. So it would be pretty manual, everything that was going on. Although I don't know, does electricity spin the jets and stuff like that? Like, how does that work? We rely on it so much.
Yeah, it's the fuel is converted into electricity, right? And the fuel is burned, and that makes electrics.
Right.
Yeah,
well, the fuel is burned to spin something.
Yeah.
And then, that turbine, then you get somehow that does electricity. That I don't really understand how a power generator actually generates electricity. I should have looked into that. I know it's something from spinning.
Yeah, I just always assume it's like much fancier static electricity. It's like just friction rubbing against something else and giving it an electrical charge.
Yeah, to create a current.
That's my
batteries. Batteries I get because they have positive and negative written right on there. So there's one side is positive, one side's negative, and you have a barrier between the two. Mm-hmm. So it's only by putting it in a highway, basically. That's you put it where a battery goes. Now the positive has a route to get, or the negative has a route to get to the positive by traveling through that circuit. There you go. It's moving through. You get your power. That makes sense. But I had a radio that had a crank on it, and while you spun it, mm-hmm. it would light up, and it would also, it was for survival kind of situations. I never understood how cranking that generated electricity.
I still don't. I just learned how batteries work.
That's fair. Yeah. If you write in if you know. Call me, whatever.
You all have my number.
Yeah, no. Yeah, Kim, if you know what I'm talking about, call me.
Do you have so can you explain how the wind 'em up one works? Because I really don't know.
Not really sure. Yeah, I just know it was a crank. I'm guessing you're cranking some kind of like mini turbine almost, but that's the piece that I don't understand, how a turbine spinning sends this electrical current over. I guess there has to be some type of ion type situation going where it's I don't know. Because a current needs positive and negative. It needs a route. Yeah. It has to one attraction to the other. I don't know. Someone's gonna have to explain that. Maybe an electrician or somebody along those lines can let me know.
Turbinator.
Yeah. If there's any turbinators out there, please write in.
What happened when that lady fell in the turbine? A turbinator. Yeah.
Nice.
Yep, that's all the uses I got for that set of sounds in a row.
That's pretty good. Let's see what else I got here. So the most recent magnetic pole reversal, this I have written down, I didn't remember this, known as the Bruns-Matayuma reversal. Brunes, I might be pronouncing that wrong, most likely. But it's well documented. It occurred approximately 780,000 years ago. This event is well documented in geological records including lava flows and sedimentary deposits, which have preserved the alignment of magnetic materials with the ancient magnetic field. So by digging up this shit and seeing how it's, I guess, aligned, they can tell that, wow, this was created when the poles were in a different spot.
That's crazy. Because I gotta be honest, I definitely got tripped up on like, but how could they tell lava flows? Like, and then I was starting to try to wonder that. I mean, I would assume it would have to be like it. I guess it's the same thing with everything. It's like a byproduct of this is this specific thing happening that they've been able to link to that, and that byproduct gives some type of a physical, leaves some type of physical remnants that they can then use that to track stuff.
Yeah, and they basically say, okay, so we have this situation. We found these rocks way down that are clearly cooled lava. I don't know what metamorphic or igneous. I forget which is which, but whatever it is, it's it's clearly old lava that is now rock, and the way the magnetic minerals are arranged do not align with the magnetic poles of today. So they come up with various theories. Is it XYZ? Is it this? Is it that? And then, throw a bunch of shit against the wall, test it out. And the one that makes sense was, wow, it looks like every so often these magnetic poles reverse, especially considering if we look at ours that it's like it's moving. So
cool shit.
Yeah. I mean, and good news, bad news. So this one, it says happened approximately 780,000 years ago.
Oof.
And on average, these magnetic pole shifts, they vary, but they seem to happen every few 100,000 to every few million years.
Okay.
So we're still under the million-year mark. And like I said, there are periods where tens of millions of years can go by with stability and no shift, according to geological record. But it's been a minute since it happened here. So that's the bad news. But the good news is we probably got time.
All right. It's just knowing that very small percentage is out there.
Yeah.
It's kind of like,
There's always a small percentage that
of
something huge is going to murder you.
Yeah.
I think we spoke. Did we speak about rogue planets? Yeah, we in the last episode we were talking about just the stuff in the nearby vicinity, and there was a rogue star that got captured, and rogue planets are a possibility. There's rogue black holes out there, and the thing about black holes is if they're not eating something, you can't see it. So if it's moving, there's no way to spot it until it hits something.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Fucking apex predator of the universe.
Yeah.
Just floating around, can't track it at all until it's too late.
Yeah, so to everybody listening, your odds of dying by black hole, they're not good, but they're not zero.
And the zero is probably the only thing that's good.
Right. In that case, yes.
Yeah. Oof. I mean, it's... How close would a black hole have to get to our solar system for it to start to fuck shit up?
Pretty close, believe it or not. And I think it depends on the mass of it, too. If it's a supermassive black hole that got kicked out, that's not that close. But a regular stellar-sized black hole, it would probably have to be pretty close. What's funny about black holes is, like, you think that they're sucking things in like a vacuum, but they're not. It's just a region of space where after you cross a certain point, space is receding inward faster than the speed of light. But if the sun were to disappear today and be replaced with a black hole that's the exact same mass as the sun,
right?
Yes, we would all die because we don't have light and sun and all that anymore. but the Earth would just stay in orbit right where it is because it's moving at a speed around a mass. Yep,
yeah.
Exactly.
Oh shit!
Nothing would change. Yeah.
So it
has to get pretty close to fuck shit up.
So black holes, just as a refresher, it's the star collapsing in on itself. So the mass will stay the same size. It just gets condensed into a very tiny area by comparison.
Exactly.
Anyway. All right.
I mean, I guess technically nobody really knows what is it an infinitely small point? Or is it just below it's called the event horizon, which is also, I think it's called the Rothschild metric. But basically it's this calculation that says if all of the mass is within a certain radius, that's what a black hole is, that'll collapse on itself. But if it's just below the event horizon, I mean, it could just be a clown party, or we don't know what the hell is in there because the light can never get out or the information can never get out. So it could be anything in there. It could all the mass. It could I don't know. It's a space octopus, just so dense that light can't escape it. We don't know. We don't know what the hell it is because it's really just an area of space, kind of, that we don't know what the fuck is in there. We know it's dense. That's it.
Not loose in there at all.
No. The complete opposite of loose. They have black holes have charge as well when it comes to one of their three properties. They have mass, charge, and spin. That's it. That's the three things that describe a black hole. But there is some kind of magnetic sphere. Nah, I wouldn't say magnetic sphere, but there's some kind of magnetic quality to them because there's no convection going on in an infinitely dense point as far as we know.
So it's some unknown reason to cause it to have that.
I think it has to do with the way that it spins, speed that it spins at, stuff like that.
All right. Neat.
I think spin is also in air quotes. It's not necessarily. It's just a quality kind of that's being attributed to it. I don't know that.
It's definitely moving, but we don't really know what the moving's like. So spin is going to have to describe it for the meantime.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah. There's some shit going on that spin seems like the right word for.
That's fucking neat.
It is.
Fuck yeah.
That's kind of all I got on magnetic stuff, unless you have any other questions.
Nothing I can think of off the top of my face.
Okay. One thing that I found in my travels that I thought was cool, this was completely unexpected, but as far as where all the water on Earth comes from, there's theories about the late heavy bombardment, theories about asteroids and meteors and comets and stuff like that. But there's something with the water makeup. I forget which is which, but there's light water and heavy water. Basically, what it boils down to is in the H2O molecule, you can add and take away neutrons, and it doesn't affect the water at all as far as the chemical makeup, but it does affect the weight. So, yeah, it's kind of a weird thing that most of the water that we find in our ocean is of the one variety versus the other. I forget which.
Oh, man. That was my question. Which one do we got? What have I been drinking all these years?
I think the liquid stuff, if I'm not mistaken, is mostly heavy.
Okay.
Versus the stuff that's in the rocks, because most of the water in the world is not actually water yet. It's just hydrogen and oxygen locked within the rocks that once it's melted becomes water again, kind of.
Oh, man.
Most of that stuff, I believe, is on the light side, but most of the liquid stuff we have is on the heavy side. So the theory is particles from the sun that we talked about, solar wind, is basically hydrogen. And by basically hydrogen, I mean it's a proton. It's a proton without an electron. So that's just a positively charged hydrogen ion. Space is filled with rocks and dust and various other little things that can have oxygen and hydrogen in them also. And in cases where it's negative, the two will kind of meet and get into the atmosphere and form water vapor. So the sun and space dust, the combination of the solar wind combining with the space dust, is theory right now to be the reason for the amount of water that we have on the surface of the planet.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. And I might have heavy and light wrong. I apologize. I should have. I planned for the magnetic stuff. I didn't write that piece down. I just kind of stumbled across it and brought it up. So I forget which is which, but
it would be hilarious to whichever it is, and then someone's like, "Yeah, try this heavy water, bro." And you have it's like, "This is what I've been fucking missing." Like it's
right. This light water is garbage.
Yeah.
It'll be on the black market.
I get it. Yeah, they like you get rid of all the flavor with the light water.
Right.
Like you taste it for a second, and then it's
right. No, I need the neutrons. I can taste the neutrons. I feel them. Delicious.
And also your the things in the stuff in the rocks point made me think of. All right, obviously anyone who's ever, at least I think, anyone who's ever drank water at some point in their life has gone like, I wonder if and how long ago this was pee or any part of it in there.
Right.
So that's how old Earth is, that there's probably stuff in rocks that's already been pee.
The amount of water that
and then it would have to
drank
get
that was
melted
the pee cycle.
Then,
yeah. Kind of gross.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm sure rock water has been drinking peed
but
over and over again.
But do you think that it's been pee and then ended up in the rock again and then has to get remelted out, or does it go in like that?
Oh, okay.
Is that possible?
Sorry. I think I don't think it does that.
All right.
I think it once the rock kind of the combination of the H2O from the melted rock comes out and forms water. Now it's in the cloud kind of evaporation rain cycle.
Gotcha. So what you're saying is that unmelted rocks are like pea larvae.
I am. I actually am. I didn't know I was saying that, but yeah, I am saying that. I learned something today too. That is the rocks are pea larvae. I like it.
Sounds like an alien's name in a cartoon. Hey, I'm Roxar P. Lava. Nice to meet you. Or larva. God damn it.
Yeah, right, yeah. Close. I got it. There's the New York accent coming out. Lava.
Lava.
Hmm?
Actually, that's more
Fucking
Boston.
fly lavas. Yeah. Dude, you gotta look at these fly lavas. They're wicked big.
Dude, they're all over the fucking meat. Just all these fucking fly lava.
Just put them in a box. Throw the box outside.
What? All right, you know what? No, give it to me. I'll do it. That shit.
There it is.
Here's the one. Cool beans.
So
it was neat.
Yeah. I guess there's a quickie. We kind of instead of warming up, I kind of jumped in just because we were talking about fucking electricity. I was like, this is too good.
Yeah.
Kissel right into
It works.
So.
Kissel right into the electricity.
Right. It's a natural connection.
I did discover a new voice that I could do when I was on vacation. I was reading to my nephew, and apparently I can do British news anchor voice. You tell me.
Okay.
I'm gonna pull up that Worms article, that Worms Back to Life article.
Oh shit, that's
a
very good article. Yeah.
And then where the fuck is it? There we go. Won't read the whole thing, but scientists discovered a female microscopic roundworm that has been stuck deep in Siberian permafrost for 46,000 years, the Washington Post reported. When they revived it, the worm started having babies via a process called parthenogenesis, which doesn't require a mate.
That's really good. But like I can't get past the content.
Yeah.
Fuck these worms. Like the first thing they do is they've been frozen for millions of years, and then we're like, all right, we're taking over. I'm taking over with myself babies.
Yeah, that's how it all fucking starts, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely that's a movie that we don't want.
Yeah. Ringworm and then Ringworm 2. Or some shit like that. Or no, you know what they do?
Boogaloo.
They call it they'll call it like 46K, like for 46,000 years or some shit like that. Like they'll be cheeky about the title, like, ooh, what could this be?
It's just everyone gets stupid giant ringworm.
Ugh.
That we're not built for.
Gross.
Yeah.
Fucking gross. And to tie this back into the British voice.
I was going to say the British voice is dead on, so yeah, go ahead.
In English versus American English. If you were at the hospital and you spoke to someone, you say, I am in the hospital. If you were getting surgery, you would say, hey, I am in the hospital getting surgery. Over there, in the hospital is only used to describe if you're in the hospital for any reason other than being worked on. Like if you're visiting someone, if you're working there as a doctor or otherwise, you would be in the hospital. Whereas if you are a patient, inward, outward, while you're there, you are in hospital. There's no the.
Oh,
yeah.
Interesting.
So I could be in the hospital visiting my brother who is in hospital. And that.
So hospital is, it's like a thing.
Yeah, in
versus
hospital.
The building. Right. It kind of abstracts the idea instead of just being a building.
Right.
Yeah. That's like a form of care too.
Good word, abstracts the idea. Good phrase. Very nice.
Well, I just want to say that I know you guys invented it, but we're so much better at English than you.
Yeah. Your English is a joke, literally.
Yeah.
Just been making fun of it for the last 3 minutes.
Yeah, as Americans, we were like, give me that. You don't know what you're doing. Let's show you. This is how it works.
Get your own.
I'm going to have to cut that out, right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, that's for me and you.
It'd be funny to leave it in and beep it, just like the entire thing. Like, and nobody, we don't hear what you say.
That's not a bad idea. Just a whole phrase. Yeah. And leave this in.
Oh, that's even better. Well, that brings us to an hour, which is perfect.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
That was our aim all along when we started.
Yeah. Under the guise of science, Guise, always spelled Guise, under the Guise of Science at Gmail, Facebook, Instagram.
We got Under the Guise of Science at YouTube. No, at Under the Guise of Science on YouTube. Had them backwards. We're on TikTok at Science Guys on Twitter. That one's a little different. Again, GUISE. And as always, download Fart Barf if you haven't already.
Yeah, buy stuff from Fart Barf.
Yeah, send them the money.
Go see them. Buy a shirt of them. Some of those shits.
Why not?
Yeah, go to fartbarf.com for their find their merch.
Probably.
Yeah, right. All right.
Google Fart Barf.
Yeah.
You're only going to get them as a result. There's nothing else out there with that.
Till next time, fuckers.